r/EntitledParents, episode 20. Entitled Parent Yells at Me for Using the Bathroom. So this story was a couple of months ago, but it is still the craziest entitled parent moment I have ever had. I was on my way to work, and I was dressed in a black t-shirt, push-up bra, relevant, jeans and sneakers. I should also mention that, because my hair is short, I'm frequently mixed up with being a guy, but I go to extra lengths to make it a little easier on people who don't notice boobs or a lack of Adam's apple. Usually, I wear makeup and make sure to always wear push-up bras and women's clothes so no one questions me. In a hoe on my way to work, I really need to pee, like outstandingly so. The kinda pee that consumes your every waking thought. So I stop at the shopping center to use the bathroom. I walk into the female bathroom and I get a few funny looks. Nothing unusual, I understand, but most people just do a quick double take then mind their own damn business. Once I finish my quest I go to wash my hands, and that when I meet entitled Mom, M, and her kid, a little boy about 5 to 6 years old. M \AHEM \. I glance at her briefly but just go back to washing my hands. M, excuse me? Me, yes. M, you're in the wrong bathroom. Me, pardon, sorry. M, bathroom, you need to go to the other bathroom. Me, with all due respect ma'am, I'm a girl. M, I don't want my little boy growing up thinking that people can just use whatever bathroom they please. You need to leave. Now usually I'm a very chill person, I'd just walk away and leave her to her little entitled life, but that day I was in a good mood, so I decided to give her a piece of my mind. Me, ma'am, I'm a girl, a woman at that. I have just as much a right to be in this bathroom as you do. Furthermore, I'm washing my hands, getting ready to leave. Just treat me with the respect of everyone else in this bathroom and leave me be. M, I don't know what's wrong with you trannies, but I just want to go to the bathroom without you flaunting yourself everywhere. Now I was tick me, ma'am. I have treated you with nothing but respect. I have been understanding and considerate, but all you have done is continued to berate me and use slurs that are extremely offensive. So I'm going to tell you for the last time, I'm a girl, born a girl, will die a girl. Here is my student ID card from an all-girls school, my license which says that I'm a female. Furthermore, here is a picture of me as a baby, dressed in a pink frilly dress. If that isn't enough to prove it to you, you should just mind your own damn business. And with that, I left. Even flipped her the bird on the way out. Edit. A lot of people are asking why the heck I had a picture of myself as a baby with me. It was actually from a couple of days before. I got it from my mom to prove to my friends that I was blonde as a baby, and it was still in my camera roll. Also, I'm not transgender, but it's awesome to see such a large number of responses from the community. I hope you guys don't have to experience anything like this. Ep tries to get me to give her my aisle seat, ends up humiliating herself. So, a little backstory: I'm from Canada, and I'm flying out to Edmonton to see family. This is my first solo flight. I'm 16, but it's only a 4-hour flight, so I'm not too concerned. I get to the airport and get checked in without a problem, but it's when I get on the plane that the fun begins. I get to my Rowan. Behold, there's no one in the window seat or the middle info. This is a plane with 3 seats per side, so I was preparing to get up regularly to let the others in my row get to my seat. 30 minutes go by and boarding time is almost over. One of the seats has been taken up by a large man. He seems nice and is keeping to himself in the middle seat without trouble. That is when Ep shows up. I'm watching a show on my phone, so I don't see this lady walk down the aisle holding her surprisingly large baby. The child must have been 1, but he was about the size of a 3-year-old. Then there was the woman. She was humongous. Her stomach was so large, it almost touched both the seats on her left and right. She stops in front of our aisle and stands expectantly with her baby. I admit, I should have noticed her at this point, and if it was just this, I would have felt more bad on my part than hers. Out of nowhere, this woman grabs the bridge of my over-ear headphones and rips them off my head. I have decently large ears, so it kind of hurt. I looked around, trying to figure out what happened, when this giant woman leans over awkwardly and yells into my ear, "You should be paying attention. Get up so I can get to my seat." The man on my left looks over to see what's going on, and I can't imagine what was going on in his head possibly. TF. As for me, I suddenly stand up and snap my headphones out of her hands. "You could have tapped my shoulder," I say dryly, moving out of my seat to allow her to go in. I wasn't exactly irritated yet, but I was definitely amused at the audacity of this woman. She looks at me with the most condescending look you could imagine and says children shouldn't be allowed on planes, you know, especially stupid ones like you. If I was your mother, I would give you a spanking right now. I look at her, amused, and ask her, "Don't you have your child with you?" She blushes and says, "My child is different. He will never turn out to be as idiotic as you." At this point, I'm not interested in arguing and merely gesture for her to sit down. The man had gotten up already, so there was no issues, so I thought. Then, to my utter surprise, she huffs and sits down. I in my seat, Mian. The other man look at her in complete confusion. Firstly, it's my seat, and secondly, how are we supposed to get in now? I speak up and say, "Hey, that's not your seat, can you please move over?" Then she starts to really annoy me and decides to completely ignore me and pull out a snack from her pocket while precariously holding her child with one arm. At this point, I know what I'm dealing with, a severe case of the tired of BS. I push the button for the flight attendant above her head and wait. The man tries talking to her too, but she ignores him as well. Eventually, a flight attendant comes through. This probably wasn't from my button press, but just a pre-flight check. When she sees the clog around the center of the plane, she comes up to the man and asks him what the problem is. Before he can answer though, Ep speaks up, finally, and raises her voice in a slightly arrogant, slightly pitiful sounding voice. "This child disrespected me openly, and I'm teaching him a lesson. Me and my child should have had this seat anyway." To my luck, this flight attendant was obviously very experienced and good at dealing with EPs. Immediately, she turned to me and asked to see my ticket. I showed her, and then she turned back and said to the EP, "You're going to need to move, ma'am, this isn't your seat." The EP turns bright red and looks at me as if I was the cause of her discomfort, and I'm not gonna lie, I got a little scared. This woman was very large and she could have very easily sat on me. Despite this, I simply stand and wait to get my seat back. She argues with the flight attendant for a while, with a fake whisper that was supposed to make me feel excluded and small. TBH, I'm not surprised this very interesting woman would use 5th grade bullying tactics, but I'll leave that at that. Eventually she says that she doesn't deserve to have to sit near someone as disrespectful as me, puts her baby on her lap, and crosses her arms with the most pudgy, stubborn expression on her face I have ever seen. The flight attendant looks at her like she is the most pathetic person she's ever seen and says, "Tell me again clearly that you would like to be moved, please." The EP happily does, and the attendant nods and gestures for her to follow. When she gets up though, she looks annoyed that the far is heading farther back in the plane. "Excuse me, I would like to sit up farther please," she says, obviously trying very hard to be a kiss up. Now the flight attendant looks back and says, "The one open seat of this plane is at the very back next to the washroom. Follow me please." The woman looks absolutely enraged and runs to catch up to the far to scream at her. I can hear her arguing right up until the moment I put my headphones on. Thankfully I didn't see her again. What a headache. "Hi, we were thinking about opening up a kid-free cafe." What? That's discrimination. Yep, in my city of 1 million+ population and hundreds of places where you can bring your kids, one cafe wanted to open up with a kid-free policy. That seemed like such a great idea to me, since I hate kids. I understand that many people don't, probably even most people, but I know there are others like me who wants to have a coffee in peace. But nope. Parents went wild with fury and reported the cafe for discrimination. They had to change their policy. Now there are a total of 0 cafes with a kid-free policy and hundreds where you risk having to sit next to a screaming, crying, messy kid, strollers blocking the spaces between the tables, and parents drinking lat while not giving a fuck about their children causing a ruckus. Seriously, *ONE**cafe. Was that too much to ask for? M wants me off the plane. Because I wouldn't give her kid my Switch. I'm on mobile, so if there's any errors I missed, please forgive me. M. Entitled Mommy. Miek. Entitled Kid Far. Flight attendant. So I was on a plane with my mom and sister to go to Chicago to see family for a week. I brought my Switch to play and decided to play some games. If you want to know which games, Mario Maker 2 and Yoshi's Crafted World. My mom and sister were fast asleep through all of this. A kid was sitting behind me watching me through the gap between my seat. About an hour into the flight he started to cry. I thought it was because his ears needed to be popped from all the pressure, so I continued to play my game. About 10 or so minutes later I feel someone tapping my shoulder. I turn around and the M is staring at me. Me, asterisk TRYING, to be NICE asterisk yes? M, you have something that my son wants. I thought she meant my drink. Me, no sorry that's mine. My mom got it for me to drink asterisk POINTING at the Gatorade. M, no are you stupid? My son wants your game. Me, no sorry it's mine I bought it. M, I don't care if you bought it, my son wants it so give it to him or I'll have you kicked off this flight. Her yelling attracted the flight attendant. Far, what's going on here? M, this kid stole my child's game. Far, give her back her kid's game. Me, I didn't steal anything. She walked up to me and told me to give my Switch to her son. Far, ma'am is this true? M, no he stole his game. Me, I can prove it's mine. I know the system's nickname and the accounts I have on it. I tell her what the nickname and accounts are in her ear, so I can prove I'm right. Far, okay ma'am if it's your son's what is the name of the accounts on the system? M says the name of what I'm guessing is her son's and her name. Far knows she's wrong, so she tells her to sit down and to stop bothering me. A red attempts to intimidate my little bro. Doesn't know I exist. Welcome back. So, this is kind of an update to my last story. Here https://www.reddit.com/r/m_tries_m_2_d7r/m_r_get_my_and_little_brother_kick/idk if the link works. Please leave a comment. This weekend I turned 18, so I'm finally able to drive without my parents. The way it works here, you can get your license when you are almost 18, but to be able to drive there has to be a person with 5+ years of driving experience until you are 18. So, finally being able to drive on my own, I bought a second-hand car from my uncle. It is a pretty good car, and since my brother and I mostly have to be at school at the same time, he can drive in the car with me. BTW this happened on Sunday. The school was doing a lesson marathon, where we stay at school for 24 hours over the weekend, to raise money for charity. Cast, me, a 6'4" guy with some muscles pounds, my little brother Ed. Entitled Dickwadek, entitled Kiddo and Amp, #X200B. So, onto the story. I guess I had just ended school and was waiting for my little brother in my car, listening to some music and chatting with a friend in the car next to me, also waiting for someone. Judging by my previous story, I think you can guess what it was about. Pound comes walking up. But halfway down the parking lot he gets stopped by a man, about 5'8". Important later, with his kid. I recognize the kid and walk up like the good brother you guys call me. A conversation ensues, and Amp, #X200B, pounds, can you leave me alone please? Me, what's up, pounds, he woep, cutting him off. This student here has lied to the principal to get my son in trouble. Not paying attention, playing on his phone. He did me. Oh did he now? Pounds, can we just go? Me, sure ep. No, I'm not done yet. Me, just leave us alone. Your son was the one who committed a fucking crime, and you're the one accusing him. No he lied. Ep, screaming, my son never lies, so say sorry, and give him his fucking jacket back. Me, fuck off. Okay ep, fucking make me. I give him a good stare and he finally turns around to actually look at me. Me, sure ep, fuck you, walks away. Also leaves still looking at his phone. We head home. to do our homework together. I help him out if necessary and finish our day. Next day I get called into the office. Principal, PR from now. We got an anonymous report that you beat up a dad and his kid yesterday. Me, you know the kid from last week. PR, yes why? Me, well a guy walked up to intimidate my brother and I walked up to see what was going on. PR, and did anything happen during that time? Me, well he began screaming and when he finally looked at me properly he backed off and left. PR, did you beat him in any way? Me, nope, check the cameras. If you want I get sent back to class, and at the end of the day I get a message saying that it has been taken care of. According to my brother, they got an email saying that he has been kicked out of school because they found out that he had been vandalizing and thrashing people's cars outside. So that was the story. Have a great day. It's shamed by restaurant hostess. Long. So this happened a few years ago, but reading other stories got me thinking about the entitled parents I've come across over the years, and there's been a few. I lived and worked in a ritzy beach tourist town most my life, made up of people who work there and people who vacation there. The tourists were basically all ep, but this one is by far the most stubborn I encountered, but had the most satisfied feeling when he walked away. Backstory: one of the summers I was hostessing at a rather pricey and popular restaurant. The kind of place that you need a reservation for, especially on weekends. This night I was working with two of the owners and the manager. Cast: Owner 1, our 1, an elderly woman who just likes greeting her guests. Owner 2, our 2 manager. Milligram hostess, me entitled dad, Ed, an older, but not elderly, man embarrassed adult daughter, so here we go. It's a Saturday night at the height of the season, about 6 PM, so just about to get hit with our non-stop, completely full reservation block over the next few hours. We don't have any tables available for walk-ins. The only tables that are empty are reserved for their upcoming reservations. So I'm at the hostess station in front with our 1 and Milligram. In walks Ed and Mda. Milligrams, welcome to restaurant name. What was the name of your reservation? Ed, we don't have one. Milligrams, oh, I'm sorry sir, unfortunately we are completely booked tonight. The next open table won't be available for about 2.5 hours. Ed, scoffs, what do you mean you don't have a table? I count 10 empty ones right in there. Milligrams, smiles understandingly, sir those tables are reserved, the guests will be showing up soon. Ed, well how soon? We can eat quick. Milligrams, that won't be possible, I'm sorry sir. Dad, it's fine, I thought this might happen, we should have called, we will next time, let's go to another local restaurant. Ed, no. This is ridiculous, they're bullshitting me. I want to talk to the owner. At this point our 1 went to go get own 2, own 1 rather not deal with this nonsense. No one can blame her, she's paid her dues. So our 2 comes out. Our 2, hi there, what seems to be the problem here? Ed, this man keeps telling me he doesn't have any tables available for 2 hours. That's crazy. I see empty tables, most annoying line to a hostess. Our 2, let me look at the reservations and tables here. Milligrams and I both try not to snigger. Our 2 is a back of the house manager. He doesn't know much about seating charts, but he's appeasing the man. I'm sorry sir, looks like the next table won't be available for another 2.5 hours. Ed, fine. If that's really the case, then we'll wait. I'll stand right here the whole time. I know it won't be 2 hours. Dad, come on, can we please go somewhere else? Ed, no. I'm proving a point. They won't fill up like they claim they will. Exasperated, fine dad, you stay, I'm leaving. And she left. He was a little shocked, but not enough to follow her. So we took his name, and he proceeded to stand in our small entryway as people poured in. We were full within 20 minutes. But this stubborn Ed held his ground. He was going to stay, wait, and glare at us. He kept mumbling to himself, and every now and then you'd hear make my point. We turned countless other families away in that time, and every single one understood. Behind the scenes, our 1 milligrams was stressing that if/when he eventually got a table he was going to get worse just out of spite, so they were trying to think of ways to get him to leave without outright throwing him out for no reason. After about 90 minutes milligrams was sick of this guy's presence and went back to talk to Autu again. Our next reservation wouldn't be in for another 20 minutes. I was at the stand now. Ed walked up to me. I guess he thought going after the manager and owner didn't work, so maybe he could guilt the ditzy hostess. Ed, how much longer? Me, giving my best customer service smile. Only about 30 minutes, sir. Ed snorts and rolls his eyes. Sure. That got me. I couldn't hold it in any longer. I had a lot of feelings about what he was doing, but not ones he was expecting. So in my sweetest voice, me, sir, that woman you came in with, she was your daughter? Ed proudly, yes she is. I dropped my smile and purposely let myself look confused/upset. In all honesty, I genuinely was. Me, I'm sorry sir, it's just, I lost my dad when I was a little girl. I would have loved the chance to have father/daughter dinners with him. To see you just throw that away to backquote, prove a point is heartbreaking. I can't imagine how your daughter must feel. You guys, this shook him. I wasn't expecting that. He didn't say anything, just looked ashamed, stood there for a minute, then turned around and walked out. My eyes literally went wide as I turned to look at our one, who was giving the same look. I thought I was in trouble for a second, but then she started laughing and told me that's how you do it, that's how you put M in their place. Milligrams, and our two should have seen that. It was incredibly satisfying. And even though we didn't get one for his awful behavior, I hope he apologized to his daughter. Entitled Dance Mom demands her angel to be put in a higher level class because that younger girl got to. Sorry for formatting, I'm on mobile. This came up when I was talking to my mom one day. TL, doctor at the end. Cast, me, Merry Elephant. Note, I overheard this when I was working the front desk/reception, EDM, entitled Dance Mom Ed, entitled Daughter Mom, my awesome mom girls, some girls waiting to go into class GG, gifted girl story. So every year we have a dance team that has kids of all ages on it to compete in various dance competitions. My mom lets students based on age enter at different times for different classes, X, hip hop and ballet, and after each class my mom would write down names of review students so she could decide who made the cut. Now Ed was nowhere passionate about dance, she has 2 left feet and flails around. Most of the time she never shows up to class. But when she does, oh boy. Her cries could sometimes be heard from the lunchroom because mom said this would be easy. And she gives up and sits in the corner, bawling her eyes out when there are younger kids staring at her. Ed is around 8 and dances with 5 to 6-year-olds. Now, Ed was terribly jealous of Gigi because Gigi worked hard at 7 to be in the dance team. Ed was in a low class, while Gigi was in classes with average 8 to 9-year-olds. One day, Gigi said that she was going to go into the auditions, and when Ed told her mother, that's when things went ballistic. My mom was just saying goodbye to the auditioning kids, 11 to 12, and getting ready for the next class, when the EDM marched right up to her and had the following lovely conversation with her. Mom, hello EDM, what can I do for you EDM, you little bad word, why is Gigi put in a higher class than my daughter? She's younger than her you, beep, mom, EDM, please calm down. There are children here and EDM, she was in an audition with the older kids. It said on your pamphlet that the kids will need to meet age requirement. Mom, burn incoming, well it looks like you neglected to read the fine print. Girls, can you give me one by the front desk? Me has one to give you. Me, *HANDS 1 over hey what's that all about? Girls, we got no idea. Mom, thank you girls, now what does that say EDM? EDM, what does what say? At this point my mom points out the fine print that clearly stated all ages for auditions are final, unless approved by the studio director. Well, once upon a time, my mom inherited the studio from my grandma, and she's the owner now. The EDM couldn't say a word, and just walked out. TL, Dr. Dance mom demands for her daughter to be put in a higher class, despite her skill level being not even close to up to par. Gets owned but not before chewing my mom out in front of her students. Addendum to M brings along her kid to work unannounced. This is an addendum to my previous post. M brings along her kid to work unannounced. https://www.reddit.com/r/entitledparents/comments/cvlg1b/m _along_her_kid_to_work_unannounced/ I did not expect my post to get so much attention. Thank you for the upvotes and comments. I guess the purpose of this is to address some points that I've decided to miss out so that the story didn't get too long. I owe it to my wonderful team and company who have been extremely supportive to me. I've noticed some comments hastily condemning or judging the people involved, me, my company, to be assholes, bitches, thieves, etc. Let's not be judgmental here. I'll shortly explain why. Just wanted to share the level of entitlement M has, which is the purpose of this subreddit. More details at the carnival. C was able to watch it unfold. Because the interaction between me and M when she brought along a kid was a good 10 minutes. Basically, it wasn't the first time this happened. We'll share more later, and I had already told her to go home. M refused to leave because she felt the job was owed to her and she was entitled to the full pay even though she was sent home. She was yelling and throwing a tantrum, "Pay me now and I'll leave." Hence, C stepped in. The kid was only 5 to 6 years old. We didn't think it would be appropriate for her to be following her mom around the carnival under the hot sun for the full day, which was what M suggested she would be doing. "My kid can hold on to my belt throughout the day. I've done this before." M said that it will only be for a few hours as her husband will come later. An obvious lie, as she had done this before. As expected, no one turned up, and M conveniently not bring it up anymore. C is a jolly, lovable person in the company with his quick wits and laid-back attitude. He's really harmless, and not as malicious I made him out to be. What's a story without some embellishment? It was his off time, and he had plans to go home and come back later in the evening. He chose to stay as he saw I needed help. He initially only intended to spend $30 on the kid as that was only what he had in the wallet. He intended it to be a slap on the wrist for M after the carnival when he tried to claim the amount from her. He systematically planned a route for the both of them so the kid can see as much of the carnival as possible before getting tired. 6 years old kid. Throughout the day, some of the guys also chipped in seeing how much fun she was having. Of course, C had the quick wits to pull it together and seek revenge on M. At the end of the carnival, again she made a big scene about payment and hours worked. The part-timers were required to report 30 minutes before the carnival start time for preparation. M reported 45 minutes after the carnival started. Including the argument with me and preparations, she only started 1.5 hours into the carnival. We couldn't give in to her, and it wouldn't be fair to the others who reported on time. To which she replied that she deserved it because she has a kid and should be given the full amount, even if we had to deduct the pay of the other part-timers, because these people without kids don't need it. She even tried asking for a bonus because she could see how well the sales went. Because of how well she performed, we could have deducted the amount from her pay. It will not be illegal. More on this later. But we wanted to screw with her, so we are planning to issue 2 checks to her name, $20 and $120. First, she'll be issued the $20 check with the deductions. If she accepts this, we'll continue engaging her along with a long talk about her attitude and hopes she changes. If not, we'll issue her what is rightfully hers and not engage her anymore. Let's just hope her sense of entitlement isn't so much that she demands for both checks. About M, although entitled and difficult to work with, M has been trained by the company and is competent to perform her duties. Caveat, if she wants to perform them properly. Generally a nice person to talk to, and tries to give her best for her kid. Most of our part-timers are considered employees with their rights and privileges under applicable labor laws in my country. M somehow feels she's above this. She calls herself a consultant/manager, managing consultant or some fanciful title. Can't be sure, it sounds too confusing. In most companies, M is considered a freelancer, which means little to no labor rights/privileges. If there are any dispute, she can only turn to small claims tribunal, which in turn, we can turn to for the childcare services. Additionally, she also feels that paperwork is beneath her and her secretary, that is in this case, me, should settle it for her. When all of us were doing the paperwork to clock the time worked, she had the time to make a scene. The main benefit to M as a freelancer is that she can negotiate payment and determine her own terms, along with the ability to engage several companies at a time, which she does. M doesn't really need the money, but does it because it is too much of a deal to pass off. The job of this nature usually cost around $10 per hour, but she managed to negotiate with hours for $15. M is known to bring her kid along for work, to force things her way, or get an advantage. Some examples: taking a longer 2 hours instead of 1 break because her kid is with her. Negotiating for more pay right before working. Never bothered looking for a sitter because she feels there are people sitting around and look free to watch over her kid. I've personally watched over her kid before around a year or so before, as she brought along her kid. Thankfully, it was only for a 2 to 3 hours. She sat with me in the office while I worked on my computer. A really well-behaved sweet girl that didn't give problems. I switched on some cartoons for her to watch on another the laptop. Hope this gives a clearer perspective of all parties. Just wanted to highlight the entitlement, and there's no need for personal attacks. PS, payment will be made this Friday and I'll update the outcome.